So for this week, I learned a lot about transferring and how you can transferring school knowledge into the real world. Um, in my opinion, I don't think school really prepares us for real life situations. It depends on the school, but it barely prepares us for the next grade level, in my opinion. I believe something in school that we can apply to real life is socializing, being professional, and other behavioral things. But the curriculum aspect of it, I believe it doesn't really at all. One other thought I have is why college is all trade. Like we go to it goes straight to our practice field and for all experience, but instead we are required to learn and redo work as we need. I feel like it's going to be kind of different for elementary education or just elementary students because, they're not really learning about those kinds of aspects, or they're not really into the reality of growing up yet. But I think people for especially like 7th through 12th grade really need to focus on that. And I came from a private school where we didn't really have anything like that. They didn't teach us about things like, I know this is weird, but like sex, or they didn't teach us things about driving or like the basic stuffs like how to put a tire on. I think that's something that everyone should know. I didn't learn that until my dad showed me after I had a flat tire. But speaking of transfer, it was this week's video that focused on learning and transfer. The concept of learning and transfer involves the ability to apply knowledge learned in one subject to another subjects or areas of life. This is critical concept to understand, and I feel as though much of what we've been learning about throughout the semester relates back to this. Namely, if teachers do not take knowledge transfer into consideration when constructing their curriculums, then it's very likely that the learning aspect of education will fall short of its intended purpose. It is important to construct curriculums and evaluations that engage students in critical thinking on concepts so that they can organize the knowledge into an accessible way. Students will then be able to apply knowledge to an increasingly wide range of problems with more success instead of being stonewalled by new challenges. I think that that's very, very important. But like I said, I don't really remember learning too much in school that was transferable. In high school, you're taught deductive skills that could be used across subjects, but that was about it. I know there's a big argument about how students complain that they weren't taught important real life things like taxes, which is a big thing. I still don't even know how to do taxes. My parents do that. Another thing is self-defense, which is very important. Can't never say this word. Mortgages, and stuff like that. You see, I don't even know what a mortgage is. Like, I know what it is, but I don't know in detail what it is. And, I agree with all of these things. Students should be taught these things because as soon as they are done with school, real problems are going to hit them in the face, because I know it did for me. But I took some leadership classes in high school when they actually had them. And I'm also in the leadership, the National Honor Society for Leadership at Ole Miss, and they were focused on like volunteer work and creating businesses, and that is probably the closest thing I've really had to like the real world like education. But I just think this is very important for teachers to really focus on, because you never know what things students might come through with, or what things. What I'm trying to say is what things they might encounter before they even get out of high school. So I think that's very important. I didn't have any questions for this week, but that is all.